We're on. Nicky Rodriguez. Nicky Rod. Yes. I like all the names. Well, thanks for coming, man. Appreciate you being here. I know you're pretty fresh to Austin. I know we were talking about that a little bit earlier. So, and how long ago did you just move here?
Been here like 6 or 7 months.
Nice. And you're loving it besides all the food?
The food is the main thing. Jiu-jitsu is also up there as well.
Yeah, it's prioritizing. And so, well, where are you originally from?
Originally from Jersey, born in Philly, raised in Jersey. And just somehow found my way down here to Austin.
Yeah. And so you obviously came down here for jiu-jitsu, the big, flood. Everyone's coming here right now. And, but, prior to getting into that, from Jersey, did you do any sports prior to getting into jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, I was known for my wrestling, I wrestled in high school and college for a year. And then I want to say before that, I tried some stuff out, maybe like soccer when I was very young.
Yeah.
Football, I tried for a couple of years, but the team aspect was not for me, more of a solo act,
Yep.
I like the independence of wrestling, and I feel like just that kind of how difficult it was helped me out for life.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I grew up wrestling like we were talking about, and, it does, the old saying that I'm sure you've heard is after wrestling, everything else in life is easy. Mm-hmm. And it teaches you a different type of work ethic than a team sport. I mean, team sports definitely have their pros, but when you do those ones that winning and losing is all based on you, it's pretty special. And so you went all the way to college in wrestling as well?
Yeah, I just wrestled a year at some Division III school.
What school was that?
Ferrum College in Virginia, right next to Roanoke. Honestly, just in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Between down in the valley, bunch of lakes around. Yeah, I think I just wanted to get away from like Jersey and just kind of live my own for a bit.
Did you get recruited, or did you? Just
I got recruited, and they gave me a bit of a academic scholarship,
mm-hmm.
but I would say I was not academic scholarship worthy.
Yeah. So. Well, that's most college athletes.
Yeah.
We I think those D3s, that's how they actually get the athletes on, is they don't have athletic scholarships, so they just do academic scholarships and
just round up some numbers.
Yeah, right. That's good enough. That GPA works. Just come play sports for us. But no, and so and then how long did you do that for?
I did it for a year. And then I was searching. I did like really well my freshman year of wrestling. So I was like, as soon as the season ended, I was looking to go to a better school because I was always like trying to be the best guy in the room. And slowly, once I worked my way up to that, I need a tougher room. You know what I mean? I feel like you can't be the shark in the pond. No. So I was looking at like Shippensburg and Kutztown University. I went on a few visits and stuff and was pretty adamant about going there. But like the summer before I would go into my sophomore year, I started modeling a little bit. I found ended up signing with like Wilhelmina Models in New York City, and I would drive back and forth from New York, and I was like making enough to like, I lived at my parents' house at the time, so I was making enough to like pay for gas and buy food. So I was like, all right, maybe I would just like give this a try, before going back to college and getting in debt again. Yeah.
Well, some of the best athletes I know dropped out early because it just wasn't worth like the debt that was racking up. That's why I left early. And so then you eventually made a transition into jiu-jitsu, and that's what I was really excited to talk about. So you kind of blew up like fast on the jiu-jitsu scene from my understanding. And, some of the videos I was watching of you, you're like super intense. Like I don't think that's someone I would want to cross on the mat or in an alley. But so how did you get into jiu-jitsu? How was that?
Well, amongst chasing the modeling stuff, I was working at Home Depot and bouncing at nighttime, right? So okay. I bounced at like this college bar. And essentially the talk of like, amongst the bouncers, talk of like who's tougher comes up, right? Mm-hmm. And there was a few wrestlers there and a few jits guys, and the jits guys were just very confident that they could beat us up, So we took them up on their offer. I went to like a jiu-jitsu practice, and I just smashed all their guys. I like didn't get subbed by any of their people. Stood on top and just took them down and whatnot. Obviously, no technique, but So once that happened, I bounced around a few gyms in South Jersey looking for like a home, So I finally found South Jersey BJJ, where I just kind of started my transition into strictly grappling there, you know?
Yeah.
I think from the beginning, I was like, I've always been pretty athletic, but I want to say because I wrestled, it forced me to be athletic. You know? I wasn't so much like, I couldn't do a backflip right at the gate, but, you know, I could learn to do it. So I feel like that approach that I had at wrestling, the mentality, I kind of carry that over to jiu-jitsu. And some of the world's best you know, grapplers had a problem dealing with that pace. So I think that's why I did well fast. Yeah,
no, because you definitely, you know, took off quick and rose up the ranks, I guess, a little bit. And so how was the transition from wrestling to grappling? Or is there really a difference between jiu-jitsu and grappling? I always hear them kind of coined together, but I don't know if they're like separate rules. Like with wrestling, there's Greco wrestling, and then there's like freestyle. Like there's different aspects to it, but
yeah, I don't know. I don't know if like grappling is just all of the sports together. Like maybe it is wrestling and jits. But the transition was, I mean, it was a bit tough because I had to, like, for instance, my takedowns, right? People are a lot more upright in jiu-jitsu, right? So you have to, you know, pay attention to the hips more, maybe focus on more judo type stuff. Also, they're not reacting as fast as wrestlers. Like if you're faking, a lot of times they don't react to the fake, so it's like weird to set up shots. Yeah. So it took some adjusting, and obviously, like when you're trying to take an opponent down that's trying to choke your neck, that's also a completely different. It's just something else that you have to deal with. Yeah. So yeah, it took some adjusting and a lot of learning. I feel like since I started jiu-jitsu, I was like focused on the technical aspect. Like I tried to have a game plan to where I could become unsubbable, and then I could start fighting for positions, start dominating positions, and then start chasing subs. So like I had like, you know, months to work in each category. And I think specifying my training probably helped me out a lot.
Yeah, because I imagine that wrestling would be tough, or transitioning from wrestling, because when you're on your back, it's pretty much over. But there's guys that prefer to be on their back. Like I always watch the Diaz brothers, and that's what they do. Is like they barely get hit, but that's like their excuse to fall back, and you know, they submit from their back. And that was always like the fear that I had if I was ever going to go train in jiu-jitsu, was like, you know,
just getting pinned.
Like how, you know, I'm on my back, and that's kind of where I knew it would be over. And so, you know, so you continue to go up, and then did you move out of Jersey? Did you just come straight here, or were you bouncing around for a while?
So I moved from South Jersey once I made some money up to North Jersey, right? I'm training in New York City at the time. Did that for like a year and some change, and then COVID hit. Yeah. So my team, DDS, we moved to Puerto Rico. We're in Puerto Rico for like 6 or 8 months. And we had a lot of fun there. We trained really hard. We learned a bunch. But the team kind of split like maybe 6 or 8 months ago, and we all kind of came to Austin and did our own thing. Opened up B Team Jiu-Jitsu.
Because your coach is Danaher, right, John?
Yeah.
Okay, and so with that, I had just heard that there's a lot of teams that split, and then they all kind of came back. Like almost everyone has moved to Austin.
Yeah.
And that's why when I had Tim on the show, we were talking about how this is kind of the mecca now of jiu-jitsu. Like everyone's here. And so with that, you know, I'm super excited to see. That's why I'm going to focus on having more jiu-jitsus on the competitors on the show, because I think it'd be really cool to get more of the city involved in it. And so with everything going on in competition wise, what is ADCC?
ADCC is the Olympics of Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
Right? It happens every 2 years. It's the highest belt you could have is ADCC title. Specifically,
it's the Super Bowl of Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah. You have your weight classes. You know, there's five male weight classes, I believe, and 2 women's weight classes. And, you know, if you win that weight class, you're the best in the world in that weight. And then there also is an absolute division where there's no weight classes. Everybody can compete in there if you medal or if you have a gold medal. So you see who's the best no matter what. And it's crazy because you'll have like a guy like Lachlan Giles, you know, relatively small guy, 150, 40 pounds, something like that. And, you know, he's broken guys' legs that weigh 260 pounds, you know what I mean? So technique over everything, that definitely comes first. But it's just it's one of those sports where you can see a crazy match where a guy's huge versus small, and the little guy wins.
I love that. And so what weight are you in?
I'm in the heaviest weight class, over 99 kilograms. So I could compete in under 99, but I'm a relatively small heavyweight. You know, some guys I compete against are 350, 280, that's like typical. You know, close to 300. But what I lack in size, I make up for endurance. You know, and it's rarely doesn't matter how strong you are at the beginning of the match. It's about, you know, when you're 10 minutes in, how strong are you?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, when I was wrestling growing up, I had no strength or size, and I counted on my conditioning, and I would usually kind of like play defense the first 2 periods, and then I could strike in the third. And, you know, speed and conditioning definitely can play a role. And like you said, technique is a huge role in it. And, I'll probably end up going and practicing, with you guys and checking it out. I miss competing. And so, but not to get too far off subject. So how does one qualify for ADCC? Today's episode is brought to you by ReGen Health and Wellness. The team at ReGen Health and Wellness is devoted to helping patients revitalize, repair, and renew the optimal blueprint of yourself. They provide an individualized and concierge model of healthcare, empowering patients to optimize their health span and overall quality of life. It's said no one can escape father time, but almost everyone can make the conscious decision and commit to living better and healthier lives. It begins with a mindset. They offer both in-clinic and telemedicine consultations. So whether you're due for a routine checkup or struggling to hit your health and fitness goals, go online or give them a call to schedule your appointment today.
So there's a trials. It's like jiu-jitsu is weird in that way because anybody can set up for these trials. It's not like wrestling. If you want to make the wrestling Olympics, you have to win multiple tournaments in order to make it to the trials, in order to compete for the Olympics. So for ADCC, you just have to win one regional trial, ADCC trial, and then you're in the biggest competition in the world for jiu-jitsu. So the trials itself, though, is tough. You know, like I think every weight class in the West Coast trials will have close to 200 competitors, and it's only a 2-day trial, so you could have 8 matches over the weekend, maybe more. So yeah, it's tough to win, but if you win, you're in it. And
how did you do at your first one?
So my first trials was East Coast trials, right? I competed at ADCC East Coast trials with about 3 months of jiu-jitsu. I trained with like John Danaher up in New York for maybe 4 or 5 times total, right?
Yeah.
I take third in this tournament. I beat the first match. I had a brown belt world champ. I beat him 15-0. Completely dominated. Second match, I had a wrestler, and took him down a few times. Actually, his name's Hudson Taylor. Really good wrestler. Cool. Yeah, took him down a few times. And one of the last times I go shot, he countered me to my back, and that was 3 points. So it's if I take him down the turtles, no points for us. So rules are a little bit different than wrestling. Wrestling, if you just sit a guy down, it's points.
Yeah.
For jiu-jitsu, you sit a guy down, you have to hold him down for 3 seconds, or if he turtles, which is referee's position, you have to get boots in. If you get boots in, then that's points as well.
Yeah, and that's basically locking your feet in.
Exactly, exactly.
It's more for people watching.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because I was going to ask you how point systems work on that. If you're beating someone 15-0, and all I can go off is the wrestling rules, which it's been 10 years since I wrestled. So, with wrestling, so if you beat someone or if you have 15 points up on them, that's it's over. Yeah, tech. And so you're how many times have you competed at ADCC?
So I did West Coast trials, took third. Maybe 3 months later, 3-4 months later, I did West Coast trials, East Coast, West Coast trials. At West Coast trials, I ended up winning West Coast. Had 5 matches in the same day, and it was fun, man. I got a few subs. I was really excited at the end because I was I don't think anybody's done that with 9 months. I had 8 or 9 months of training, and winning the West Coast trials was pretty good because I had a guy in there that previously won it, a few other tough rounds as well. So it was good, man.
Yeah, I was watching a little bit. I like to learn about guests before they come on, just so I don't stall or not know anything about them. And I was watching the one clip of you. There's a show on YouTube. Where you went up against a guy, his name was Muhammad Ali.
Oh yeah,
that was insane match.
So that's the World Championships. Yeah, that was my first match at ADCC World Championships. And yeah, that was a big boy. I mean, he's like 6'5", 6'6", and 260 pounds, maybe bigger. Yeah, that was a tough match. I had kind of a game plan of like, I understood that my endurance plays a big factor. If I can get these guys tired early on in the match, I can put it on them towards the end and try to secure this win. Because back then I just had no technique. I only had wrestling, and I could stay away from submission. So I was trying to do my best to implement, getting this guy tired, hand fighting heavily, keep him on his toes, and keep him reacting over and over and over again. It was like I watched a podcast with GSP, and he talked about not only physically overwhelming your opponent, but neurologically overwhelming them. So giving them not only more things to do, but more aspects to think about while you're grappling. So I try to implement, game plans like that, and it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, well, I noticed that too, that you kind of set the tone early through both in the match and outside of it, because watching that, everyone, I could see it in their face, like they weren't necessarily scared, but nervous, like, oh man, this guy out of nowhere came through. And it's kind of funny talking to you now. You seem very relatively calm and, relaxed, but in that you're fired up, and they I encourage people to watch it too. It's a ton of fun. And so yeah, you did that one. So when's the next ADCC?
That'll be September. This September.
And you're going to that one? Yeah,
it's in Vegas. I'm already in. Another heavyweight from the U.S. should be in, because we have the West Coast trials in a few weeks. And it's Jay's competing in it as well, J-Rod. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Where's the trials at? The ones that get you into the September one?
Vegas as well.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And when's that one, in September?
I don't know, like probably mid-September. Okay. Yeah, 22nd, something like that.
That'd be cool. Yeah, I haven't been to Vegas in forever. And so, have you competed? Like, where else do you compete? I'm assuming there's got to be more tournaments than just ADCC.
Yeah, ADCC is the big one, but there's like private events that go on all the time. UFC Fight Pass puts on stuff. FloGrappling puts on stuff, usually in Austin or Dallas. Yeah, and a bunch of other private events. But yeah, it's fun. We're pretty much like individual contractors. People just hire us for these events. We go compete, make some cash, and come back home. And it's fun. You travel a bunch. Like, I've competed a few times in the UK. I've done seminars around the US for like weeks at a time. And it's all over the States as well.
Yeah, no, it looks fun. It's a whole community that I didn't even know existed. And so, one of the things I said in the very beginning when I started the show is like, I really wanted to get more involved in all the different sports. Like, I hadn't known until Tim was on the show that, Austin had just boomed in the jiu-jitsu scene. And so I'm really hoping to get more involved in that and really kind of showcase it more. I think it's a really unique sport. And when people talk about it, they often associate it with like they don't understand that it's not cage fighting, but you do see a lot of guys that compete in both. And so, is that something you've ever considered doing too?
Yeah, I mean, I think about fighting all the time just because I think I'd be good at it. But it's super time consuming. It's hard to be a master at multiple things. Like, it kind of blows my mind how much I need to learn in order to master jiu-jitsu. Yeah. And then I'm even thinking about fighting. I'm like, you need to take so much knowledge and over such a long period of time to be like a masterful striker, kickboxer, etc. And it's like, I don't know. I feel like it's a lot to comprehend. So I would much rather become a master in my sport, accomplish the things I want to accomplish in jiu-jitsu. And then once I do start learning, the mixed martial arts side of things, I prefer to coach. Yeah, I think my style translates well to a lot of fighter style, and it could benefit them tremendously. So I plan on being a good practice partner and learning a bunch of striking and mixed martial arts as I go on throughout the years. Yeah,
that'd be great. And with jiu-jitsu as well, it's not technically striking, but they're allowed to like slap, right? You can.
Yeah. So that's combat jiu-jitsu. Eddie Bravo usually that's like his like kind of patented thing. He does it. I think he's done it in Mexico a few times. And
I saw a girl match where this girl was like slapping the shit out of this other girl's face, and I was like, "Can you do that?"
Yeah, you can. In that one, you can. I've seen some guys get KO'd like that.
Yeah,
TKO and whatnot. But yeah, essentially, I think you can only slap like if you're on the ground. So standing, you're just wrestling. But if somebody pulls guard, then you could pull the hands out.
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't know how I would feel just because slaps to me hurt a lot more than getting punched. I can take a punch, but slaps sting. and they just don't feel good.
Yeah.
And but I remember in high school wrestling, yeah, you were allowed to tap their head, but that was always our excuse to just slap the shit out of someone and then take them down. And so today's episode is brought to you by Avatar Nutrition. It is always a treat to show some love to our sponsor, Avatar Nutrition. Avatar is actually owned by my friend Mark, who is a lifting buddy of mine from the gym. What I didn't realize at the time is that his app has been used by close to 200,000 people, and they've used it to lose over 2.5 million pounds of pure body fat. What's really special about Avatar is that it's a complete service delivered through a super easy-to-use app. See, Avatar is the OG in the macros game and created a process that makes counting macros both fun and simple to stick to long-term. You've got unlimited support from their community and experts on staff, and they are in the business of giving their clients results that last. Try it free on the App Store or Google Play Store for 2 weeks, and if you love it as much as I do, it's just $9.99 a month after that, or $97.99 for the annual rate if you want even more of a discount. If you're a coach, trainer, or you own any kind of business and want to use Avatar to facilitate game-changing nutrition coverage for your people, Avatar is a program for groups too. Just contact them through their website to learn more at www.avatarnutrition.com. With what is like a training regimen like for jiu-jitsu? Do you have like a certain like regimen you have to stick to, or is it different when you're getting ready for a competition?
So I want to say first that like first and foremost, we don't have like, we're not like NFL, right? We don't have coaches, telling us when to train, what to eat and whatnot. So it's a very independent sport. If you don't want to train, you just don't train, but you're going to suffer the consequences of that. So you do have to be very disciplined in our sport because you're your own coach. You're your own, you're in control of that stuff. So for me personally, I train twice a day. I either do jits at 12 and 7 p.m. or jits at 12 and lift at 7. Mm-hmm. That's just been my schedule for like 3 years. It's worked pretty well. I feel like I constantly learn. And I don't know, maybe Sundays I'll only do jits at like 12 or something like that, but without the lift. But I've been a fan of like bodybuilding for a long time. So I've been lifting maybe about 7 years, doing jits for like 3.5. So like I want to say the discipline that I got from lifting, kind of carried over to jiu-jitsu to where like I saw building muscle as putting armor on my body, right? Yeah. Like you see a lot of guys get injuries, like they'll break ribs and stuff, and usually that's because you have a weaker core. Mm-hmm. You can't sustain the blows that I can. So I think lifting's been a big part of my life just because I think it forces me to be healthier, more fit, more dense, that's always a good thing. And then it makes me want to eat better as well. So I've always implemented lifting. And when I do lift, most of the time it's 6 or 7 times a week. Mm-hmm. But like not every day I'm going to failure. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I don't go to burnout every single day. You can't train twice a day every day if you're like that. But
is it more like accessory work? Like
probably like 4 or 5 times. Well, previously, it was more like accessory work. Like I'll just pick a body part that day and do it. Yeah. Nowadays it's more CrossFit style.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I'm just transitioning. I think it's like I always want to look jacked when I'm competing, right? So
you definitely look more physically fit than a lot of guys you compete against.
Yeah, for sure. I look at like who has the best physiques out there and who's also athletic. Mm-hmm. Fucking CrossFit guys. They have the endurance. They can lift heavy numbers and they look awesome. I'm like, all right, I feel like this will be better for me because I don't have to curl, 100-pound dumbbells, but I can put 135 over my head a few times, and that's not too bad for me.
Yeah, that high intensity interval training is insane. I've done a couple CrossFit workouts and I'm just like, oh my God, like this is awful. But it's so crazy and they are strong and I can see how that would probably translate better into, jiu-jitsu training as opposed to like bodybuilding, isolation training or strongman or powerlifting, because you're more susceptible to injury when you're doing those things. But CrossFit too. But
it's also the cardio aspect of it, right? Because the CrossFit has where you have to knock out 50 pull-ups right now, but you also have to run a marathon. Yeah. Right. So it's like you have the sprint and you have the longevity of endurance, and I think that's what jiu-jitsu is as well. Because we have intermittents, or we have times that we have to sprint, you know what I mean? 30-second sprints, 100 or 30-second sprints. And then we have, also, it's also a 15-minute match. So you have to sustain that, for a long period of time. Is it
straight 15 minutes?
Yeah, no breaks.
Yeah, there's no like periods or anything like that.
Yeah, ADCC is 10 minutes and then 5-minute overtime. And then who's number one is 15 minutes straight. But you have, some matches are 30. So, it varies, but 15 minutes is standard now. Yeah,
it's like those old. You ever seen like the bare knuckle fights, but like in England, like the street fights and stuff? There was
it goes on.
Yeah, they just don't stop until someone's out, and like there's like 3-hour fights, and I'm like, it's exhausting. And so you obviously you're incorporating weightlifting into that. Have you been able to check out some of the cool spots out here, or do you just go to like a corporate gym?
Yeah, I started off at a Standard Golds, but then I've been to Atomic Fitness, or Atomic Athlete.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, I've also been to Roca, which I think is a private gym.
It's Tim's, I think.
Yeah. Trained there a few times, and so my first time training with Tim, right? I think he tries, like, if he finds somebody new, he tries to see like who you are through the workouts.
He's a wild man.
Yeah, for sure. He definitely tries to find out a bit about you.
Yeah, he's something else. I'm super indebted to him. He helped me out a lot with getting the show started. But I do have plans to go train at his school and do all that. And then I know they also train over On It. I don't know if you've been over there yet, or
once or twice.
Yeah, that's Juan is really good at the kettlebell training. Like the stuff he puts people through is intense. I haven't had a chance to do it yet. I knew that they were doing classes for like these group like men classes where they'd come and do crazy stuff. I might check one of those out soon.
I actually did like some filming at On It, and when I walked in On It for the filming, I just hear this roar of guys just yelling and screaming. I was like, what is happening? I opened the door. There's like 50 guys jammed in this room, just like I
think that's the class.
Workout. Yeah, it had to be. Yeah, it was intense. For
sure. I kept getting invited to those, but I sleep in. Like I just no way I was going. But no, that's cool. So do you have also like a strict diet plan that you stick to, or is it just kind of like
I wouldn't say strict, but I mainly just eat meat, some fruit,
carnivore diet.
Yeah, essentially I mainly meat. If I'm doing vegetables, it's like is avocado a vegetable or is it a fruit?
I'm pretty sure it's a vegetable. Right?
It's a vegetable. Okay, well, I usually I eat a lot of avocados. Just I think like high fat, high protein is kind of my ordeal for sure. I mean, I do snack sometimes, if I have some Cheetos in the back, it is what it is.
It's funny because running the show, everyone always assumes I'm like some diet nutrition expert. I'm like, no, I don't know anything. Like I barely learned what macros were because one of the sponsors of the show is a macro dieting app, and like I eat pizza and all kinds of stuff. I try to eat clean, but it's for the most part. No, I don't have like a strict plan that I stick to. And so do you have like what's coming up besides ADCC? Are you planning on competing in anything else?
I don't know. I'm in talks with I can't say the name of the organization, but potentially to be an exclusive member of this organization for like a year. So if that happens, then I'll just be doing ADCC and competing for these people. But no, besides that, nothing scheduled. Things happen fast in jiu-jitsu. Like, you could not compete for a month or so, and then, in 1 month you could have, a match every single weekend. So, it comes and goes for sure.
Just have to always be on your toes.
My best advice is to be in shape for.
Yes, speaking of advice, if someone's looking to get into it, so like I've mentioned a couple of times, obviously Austin is blowing up in the jiu-jitsu grappling scene, and I have a feeling more and more people are going to be interested in it and checking it out. And that's kind of what I'm hoping to do with the show. And so if there's people that are considering getting into it or even just going to a class or wanting to compete and learn, like what are some tips that you would give beginners, even like myself, someone that like, let's say go into it completely blind? Today's episode is brought to you by CBD Online Xpress. CBD Online Xpress is a fresh, up-and-coming CBD company that strives to offer the highest quality products at an affordable price to help you in your everyday life. They offer a variety of products such as tinctures, edibles, flour, and even their new recreational line, Oxed Up. They also have plans to introduce water and an energy drink later this year. Go to cbdonlineexpress.com and get your products today.
I would say if you're beginners that are looking to be just hobbyists, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. If you're looking to be a hobbyist, I would say just try to do it consistently, right? Try to avoid doing it, 5 or 6 times a week initially, because then you'll be like so sore and you're like, I can't deal with this, right? Yeah. Maybe try to do it every day, every other day or so. 3-4 times a week is great. I think people tend to overdo it when they initially start, so it's just too much for them, especially if somebody's not accustomed to working out and your body's completely exhausted. So maybe 2-3 times a week is good to initially start, and learn that it takes time. Knowledge is power, right? And know that the more that you learn, the more you know, and it'll benefit you, regardless of the size of your opponent. And I think jiu-jitsu is something that can benefit you in life, right? I think doing hard things, dealing with difficult situations, getting pinned on your back and having to fight your way out just makes dealing with the issue that you have at your office job, a little bit easier.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It can make life easier. People don't understand that overcoming those challenges translates into the real world. And so what is like a typical class, would you say? So if someone's, for me, a lot of the fear of the unknown is just not knowing what to expect when you get there. So like when someone shows up to a class, what is it usually like?
It's probably 45 an hour of instruction, sometimes an hour and a half, and then you're doing like 40 minutes of live. For B team, we keep it kind of short. We understand people don't have like the long attention spans, right? So we do like 30 to 45 minutes of technique, cut it off there, and then we do like another 40-50 minutes of live. And we do that, pretty consistently. Yeah. It's not uncommon for us to train like 70, 80, 90 days in a row without any rest days. You're including Monday, Sunday, all that stuff. So like when they get there, there's probably like a warm-up period, and then it's going over certain technique and moves. I would say most academies usually do like 20-minute warm-up or something like that, but we don't really warm up at B team. We just start going into the techniques. If you want to warm up, you can come early, but yeah, we just like to keep you guys learning, because the drilling, if you're drilling jiu-jitsu, it's not going to be crazy fast-paced. Like when you warm up, a lot of times in wrestling, you'll have good warm-ups, because once you start moving, you're moving fast, you're moving a lot, you're moving weight and whatnot. But for jiu-jitsu, it's usually the technique's time-consuming, so you're taking your time with it. It's not really necessary to get super hyped before that.
Yeah, especially as a beginner, like you don't need to be going 100% in. And so, is there anything that they have to wear? Like I know some people wear the rash guards, and
it's best to wear.
You don't.
Yeah, no.
I usually go shirtless.
Yeah, I usually go shirtless and with shorts on. But I think the rash guard helps if you have good technique. Like it gives you a little bit more friction, so you can stick to your opponent better. So if you're going for the sub, like a lot of times if I'm competing and I feel like I'm gonna sub this guy, I'll put a rash guard on. You know what I mean? But you have elusivity on your side as well if you're shirtless. But I think when you're just practicing, the preference is rash guard and some board shorts. Try to avoid like zippers and stuff like that in your shorts. But yeah, you can wear a regular t-shirt. The only thing that gets caught up in fingers and knees and stuff like that. So it's kind of not as best. Yeah,
I used to wear long sleeve shirts when I wrestled, and we would tape our wrists. We would tape the clothes to our wrist. And then what about shoes or anything? You just go barefoot?
Yeah, I go barefoot. I mean, you could wear shoes if you want, but it's easy to get heel hooked like that. There's a lot of friction down there.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to wear that. Because I think I am gonna go do that stuff with maybe even you this weekend. We'll shoot that
swing on by.
That pilot. That'll be fun. Do you? I know you said you have like lifting, but do you have like any other outside hobbies that you do outside of jiu-jitsu?
I stay pretty busy with the grappling, but we like stuff. I have stuff that I like to do. Like I enjoy riding dirt bikes, paintball, shit like that. But pretty consumed with
just
grappling.
It's a lifestyle.
Yeah. Once I get to where I want to be, I'll start having fun. I'll take a Sunday off or whatnot.
Alex, you just got a dirt bike, right? Yeah. Where do you take that?
There's a couple places. There's one out by the airport.
Yeah.
Actually, two kind of out east of the airport. Del Valley.
Del Valley?
Yeah, I'll have him hook you up. I don't know.
Send him my way.
I don't do bikes. I've crashed too many times, and I've realized that I don't think this one's for me.
It's, technique is everything.
Yeah. And so do you have any like long-term goals through grappling? Like, I don't know if I know wrestling's in the Olympics. I don't think is grappling or jiu-jitsu.
No, it's not. My long-term goal is to be the wealthiest grappler ever. I mean, if I could just make this sport to where I'm making like 8 figures and show other people like, listen, we can make millions, you know, put us in the mainstream. Who knows, dude, who knows in 5 or 10 years, or, you know, we're going to figure it out. I think what we're doing at B Team, we're blowing up the social media aspect, right? We have a lot of followers on Instagram. We're doing YouTube. We're making like a vlog series, you know. I think the more content we put out, the better. We're probably going to vlog up to ADCC, and after that, you know, give people, try to help people make a connection with the sport and with B Team. And I think throughout, you know, building a fan base, you know, on YouTube and social media and whatnot, will really help the sport go mainstream, because I think it's all about getting eyes on it. Like,
absolutely,
before it's like people are just don't want to be seen rolling, like, oh, don't film me. And it's like, put the ego away. Fucking, you know, people want to see what they want to see. 100%. So we're trying to put out as much content as we can, and slowly it's building us up, man. I think as a whole, it's growing the sport.
No, that's great. I mean, that's how I learned about it. You know, I'd always known about it, but I never really like knew about it, if you kind of catch my drift. And I think that's important. I think that it's important to utilize social media and all that, you know, to raise awareness. And then you start working on events. You know, I would say host some events out here. You know, Austin's booming right now. Like,
I think we're gonna make like a B Team tournament.
Yeah. Let me know. I'll help out. That's what I do. Like a lot. I put on a big like open gym events, and the last one I did had like 1,200 people.
I think crazy. We're going to do a grand prize to be like a gold-plated AR or something like that. Something cool, you know what I mean?
Shit, yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, and I mean, I know that there's a gym that's actually right next to the gym that I work out at. I work out at a gym called Big Tex, and right next to it is Black Sheep Boxing, and they did a smoker. And I mean, it was crazy. Like, there were so many people. And then after that, a gym packed with people. And it's, you know, I think that that's definitely the route to go. The city is very supportive. It's unbelievable. Like, I wouldn't have what I have without the people here. And I'm super grateful for it. And if, you know, they see that you have a passion for what you're doing and you put something on, they will come. You know, it's that if you build it, they will come method. And I think that you're on the right track. You know, you're working with companies now, and you're getting out there, and you know, you're in the best place to grow. Like, this is a huge entrepreneurial city. You know, you could start your own brand and it would explode out here, because people are so supportive of local entrepreneurs and business, and everyone you meet out here is usually a transplant trying to get something started. And so, no, I think you'll definitely blow it up. That's doable. And so, are there other big like, is there like a ADCC, you said, is like the world championships? Yeah. And so are there other like world championships in other countries too? Or is that like the main one?
It's there's worlds like IBJJF has worlds, but it doesn't really hold the same values as ADCC. It's like more hobbyists do that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Pretty good black belts do it as well, but it's it's one of those things where you have to pay to compete. As versus ADCC, you get paid.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's like,
is it like a grand prize?
Yeah,
or just a competitor fee?
Absolute grand prize of ADCC. I think it might be close to like 80,000, 100,000. It might be actually 100,000 for ADCC absolute.
Be nice.
Prize,
yeah. No, that's great. Yeah,
and there's other events that put out money like that. Like, there's a gi event that puts out 100K for an event. There'll be like team tournaments where like 3 versus 3 for like 30, 50K, something like that. That's
actually a good I'm glad you brought that up. I totally forgot about that. So what's the difference? I see it. I see you go shirtless when you train. Then some people wear rash guards, and then there's gis. And for people that don't know what gis are, it's kind of the jacket, for
like a karate suit.
Yeah, karate suit, and you got the belt and stuff like that. And so, what is the difference? Are those different types of training, or is it?
So it's the same as jiu-jitsu, right? But the gi just adds another layer. So like your opponent can pull and maneuver your gi, but you can also do the same to them. You can do that to yourself. Like,
I see them twisted a lot.
Yeah, sometimes guys will go grab their gi, try to choke somebody. There's more submissions you can do in the gi, but it's kind of, if you ask me, it's kind of a dying part of the sport.
Yeah,
I think no-gi jiu-jitsu is more Americanized. It's growing. There's more wrestling implemented. Also, it's faster paced, so it's more viewer-friendly. A lot of times you'd see 2 black belts go in the gi, and they just sit there and like nothing's happening because it's all pushing, pulling, and stalling, In no-gi, you have stalling as well, but it's definitely faster pace for sure. And also the grips are completely different. You can't just grab the guy's jacket. You have to have your hands, in proper positions in order to control your opponent. You have to understand whether to control the shoulders, the hips. You're forced to know either a little bit of wrestling or have a phenomenal lower guard. So yeah, it definitely adds a few different aspects, whether you have the gi or no gi.
Yeah. I've always been curious about that because I see some people training them, and then I see some people go in rash guards or just like you go shirtless. And so, no, I've always been interested by that. And so with black belts, obviously everyone starts with the white belt. So how does one like level up with the belts?
So it usually goes by how much you know. It's a knowledge-based thing. So like white, blue, purple, brown, black. And yeah, I think the fastest guys that get black belts are like, maybe like 5 years. Somebody can get a black belt if they're really good. Like if they go from nothing to winning worlds or like placing in ADCC, guys will get a black belt. But I think it's less about, because like, I mean, if you're asking me, like when I first started, I was beating most black belts, in the area.
That was the name of that YouTube video, is the Black Belt Slayer.
Yeah. So I was, as soon as I started, I was pretty good. Within a couple months, I was beating most black belts in the area. So it's like, if that qualifies you as a black belt, then it is what it is. But if you're asking me, I think it's about what you know. How can you teach other people, and how much knowledge do you have? So if you have black belt level knowledge, then that's great. But you can beat somebody if you just have 2-3 techniques that are really, really good. Yeah.
Because I've always wondered, like, how does someone, like, what's the purpose behind it, and then does it actually like match or describe who they are as far as how good they are? And because I meet people all the time, I'm a black belt, I'm this, and I'm like,
I think black belts in different sports mean tremendously different things.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I can't speak for most sports, but for jiu-jitsu, usually if you're a black belt, you're probably a tough guy.
Yeah. Is there like different, does it carry more weight if it comes from someone else? So like, I know that there's like 10th Planet, and then does it kind of cross over into like, say this, where do you train at? Today's episode is brought to you by Hotworx. I want to let you guys know about an incredible new craze going on in the Austin fitness community. It's called Hotworx. Hotworx is a virtually instructed exercise program created for users to experience the many benefits of infrared heat absorption while completing a 30-minute isometric workout or a 15-minute high-intensity interval training session. As the infrared heat penetrates your body, causing you to sweat, the isometric postures further accelerate detoxification by physically removing the toxins from your organs through muscle contraction. Hotworx is virtually instructed, has 24/7 access, and also offers easy-to-use app-based scheduling, so you never have to miss a class again. Hotworx has 2 locations to serve, located at the intersection of Anderson Mill Road and FM 620 in the HEB Plus Shopping Center, and also another location in San Marcos. So stop in, tell them Austin Fitness Community sent you, and get a special free session on us, and check out Hotworx today.
I train at B Team right now. It's a school we just opened. But I guess I'd be like under Craig Jones or Nicky Ryan right now, previously under John Danaher. But yeah, we're kind of... those are black belts, Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know anything about the I have no previous knowledge in like coaching, competitors, any of the gossip or news behind that. Honestly, not super interested in drama or gossip. I know everyone's got stuff, but I've always heard that name Danaher too. As far as like he went from being a teacher to
definitely best coach in the world, and even more than a coach, he was kind of the team like psychologist. Like he would know what to tell us at the right times, to where when we go in the competition, it's like different people.
Yeah, I've heard the same names over and over. So hopefully I'll just get him on the show, because I don't know.
Can't hurt to ask.
Yeah, right. I mean that's kind of how it works. I always get asked like, how do you know these people? How do you do that? I'm like, honestly, I just ask. Yeah. And like most of the time they just come. But so if do you have any belts or anything right now?
Yeah, I'm a purple belt. Been training for like 3.5 years. But again, like, I know a lot more than most grapplers in the world. I'm capable of a lot more. I think I got my purple belt on ADCC, the podium at ADCC, and that was 2 years ago. And that was the last time I kind of got promoted. But again, I don't really know who I'm under. Maybe I'm under. I don't know.
You just got it.
I just got it. Yeah, John gave me 2 knives as like a upgrade in life. That was like his
just a cool gift.
Yeah,
yeah, like a
exactly.
prize. Yeah, I remember growing up, me and my older brother, we did Taekwondo, and I was asked to leave because I kept hitting people. But I was a kid, and then my brother kept getting belts, and then they would put stripes on it too.
Yeah.
And I never knew what that was.
I think it's like 4 stripes per belt. So like you get every couple months you get a stripe, and you keep adding up so you get 4 and get a.
And then it levels up.
But like no-gi is like you see big changes where like if a blue belt is an okay grappler, but he's a decent leg locker, and he can submit like a lot of black belts. A lot of older black belts don't really know any leg locks. And in general, people don't do legs. So like you have guys that have only been training 3-4 years, and they're beating really good guys because they're heel hooking them, and guys just don't know what to do.
Yeah, that's like my biggest fear. That's why I don't mess with people. Like you never know. You can just come across someone, and next thing you know, you're asleep and not even a hit taken. And so. No, so with all that, when it comes to training, how, if you want to be a competitor and you want to actually go forward into it, I know I've been seeing a lot of comedians getting into it, that's how I really learned about it, was I kept meeting a lot of the comics that go and train. So if you want to get into competition training, what is kind of, how should someone approach that as a beginner?
I would just say do it every day.
Every day,
right? I mean, my approach was quit your job and go full, completely commit. But it depends. Like, are you just trying to win a couple titles? You could do that. Train 5 times a week and beat some good people. But I'd recommend doing it every day. And you really have to structure what you want to learn, what you need to learn at a certain times. Like for me, it was build a rock solid defense. That way it makes it easier for me to attack. I have more confidence when attacking. So structure your training. Don't just go in there and go live and go hard. That's good. It's good to train hard, but you also have to train smart. So understand why you're moving. Understand the reason behind your movements
and drop the ego. Yeah, be humble.
Yeah, because it's like if you have a hefty ego when you're training, then you only want to do your best stuff because you're like, I'm taking this guy back, I'm choking him every time. I'll just keep doing that. And it's like, all right, well now you have to work arm bars because you suck at arm bars. And now you have to attack the legs because you have problems there. So shutting off the ego will help you see where you're having trouble and make you train in those bad spots more often.
Yeah, are there any like moves that are like they're okay, but it's kind of like everyone kind of eye rolls at them. Like that's kind of like a cheap win. Like for example, in wrestling, it was a head and arm. It was always such like a cop out, because like obviously you're gonna pin someone with that. It's
things like wrist locks people hate because it just like causes pain and doesn't unless you're people don't really tap from shit like that. I don't know. I don't tap from shit like that. But things like that. I mean, there's not much though. I mean, a sub is a sub. It's like. Because you physically have to quit if you get submitted. Like it's not like the ref says it's over. Like it's you saying, "Yeah, I'm tapping. I'm done." So it's a different ordeal for sure.
Yeah. Do you prefer like you sub? That's it. You don't try to win by points.
Yeah, I definitely try to submit my opponent the entire match. Winning by points is okay, but it's like you're training every day so I could dominate these guys. Like I don't just want to win by a couple points.
Points.
Kobe Bryant, that shit. You know what I mean?
Just dominate them. And so who do you think was like probably your hardest like challenge so far?
Hardest challenge. I mean, I had Kynan Duarte in ADCC finals, and that was definitely my toughest match. I made a few technical errors. I also had some early success that I like. Me looking back now, watching my match, I was like, I shouldn't have been that successful. Like I had a scenario, like maybe in the 8-minute mark of the match, where the guys he pulls guard, so he's sitting down while I'm standing up. I get to a body lock and I pass the guard. Right, I pass guard. He turns around. I take the back, and like. I've been training for like it was less than a year at the time. So it didn't make it. Like, I shouldn't have been able to do
like
that. That's strictly a jiu-jitsu movement. You know what I mean? So me being able to do stuff like that so early on, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna keep training and keep at it.
Yeah. Do you feel like that all that quick success either helped you grow, or did you think it has played a role or something as far as slowing you down and progressing?
Yeah, I think I took second in the last ADCC. I think that's the hardest place to get because you're so close to first. So it just made me hungry, and I want it bad.
Yeah. Well, and you seem like a pretty like competition hungry guy. Like you don't like get cocky in the sense of I'm not going to train today because I know I'm the best. It's more like I'm going to train twice today because I want to win. And
yeah, even if I'm winning, I want to win by more.
Yeah, which is a great mindset to have, and that's something that I'm definitely looking forward to watching your future matches and getting in that. And so if there's you said there's local competitions out here too.
Yeah, FloGrappling runs usually it's called Who's Number One.
Is that a school or is that like
FloGrappling is the biggest media like aspect in jiu-jitsu. I think on Instagram they have like 500K, 600K, something like that.
What's up?
You know Flow Wrestling?
Yeah, well, FloGrappling, FloGrappling are both in their own sports the biggest like media people.
Okay.
So
they stream and put events on.
They stream, put events on. They've got a big YouTube following and big website as well. So they put events on, usually called Who's Number One, and they just take the top ranked guys from around the jiu-jitsu community, put them to compete together and see who's the best.
No, that's dope. Yeah, I'll check them out. Maybe I'll reach out to them. Maybe we can put on an event or something. And then, so is there anyone you're looking forward to going against? Or you haven't yet?
Not anyone specifically, but I'm really focused on getting better in the things I need to work on. That way, when competition is ready, because usually people call me, they're like, "Oh, we got a match for you."
Oh,
like,
okay.
All right. How many weeks? So, yeah, I just focusing right now on getting better. That way, when it's go time, it's go time.
Yeah. No, that's such a unique way. I've never heard of a sporting event where it's almost like we got this for you. Besides like, I don't really consider like the UFC in the same category. Obviously like those are 12-week prep fights and they're marketed and things like that. And it seems like in this case they're just like, hey, you want this? We'll pay you. I've never seen anything like that before. That's kind of
because you're not tied down with anybody. So you could go with any company. And
are there different federations or anything?
Not
like
that? Federations, but it's like just private people have their own events and they put them up. They want to see these two guys grapple. All right, you won 15K, you won 15K. All right, let's go grapple. I'll film it. So that's like it's pretty much that simple. But it's how the community works, and it's fun.
No, that's cool. Today's episode is brought to you by Athena. Are you tired of oversaturated social media apps with content not related to your health and wellness interests? Well, look no further. So I recently came across this brand new health and fitness social network, Athena. Athena is a new and easy to navigate health and fitness social network. It connects you with like-minded fitness enthusiasts to share and also creates the opportunity for you to get trusted guidance and support from your peers. You can gain early access by clicking the link in our bio or scan the QR code at the bottom of the screen, but you better jump on it quick because availability is limited and spots are filling up fast. So click the link or scan the QR code and get started on Athena today. Yeah, I've always wondered that because, I hear about, the only thing I can really reference to is the UFC and how a lot of those fighters can't go do other outside fights because they're locked in with that federation. And so that's interesting to know that with grappling, you can literally just go wherever you want, or jiu-jitsu in this case. And so what's the school you train at now? Is it yours or you have like a main coach under it?
Yeah. So it's about 4 of us to own it, 4 or 5 of us to own it.
Oh, so you're one of the owners of it too.
Yeah.
And where's this one at?
It's, you know where Blazer Tag is?
Okay, yeah, down
off of Ben White.
Yeah.
So it's B Team Jiu-Jitsu, same thing on Instagram and YouTube.
Yeah. We'll put the links in the...
Yeah. And, we kind of just started like training there. Like we're trying to get a different concept, right? Like these guys, everybody has the standard warm-up and into technique and into life. We have a different vibe in the gym where it's very, very extremely competitive. But it's very friendly as well. Like we all enjoy each other's company. We train very hard. We learn constantly, but we have a bunch of conversations throughout the day, like before and after practice. That are almost always technique based. So it's like, we have specific technique and drilling that we do for 30, 40 minutes, but also the conversations before and after practice. You're going to learn a lot from those as well. So it is a private gym. We only accept a few people. And we're keeping it as small as we can right now, just because we are athletes. We're still focused on ourselves and getting better. And,
Would you say you're more focused on like competitors as far as people training there, or
I would say competitors and hobbyists that take their training very seriously.
Okay.
Like they're like for instance, a lot of our guys they train twice a day, like every day.
Okay.
And so the people that are training with us now are getting good fast. And we have a lot of people that come visit from other countries and out of state constantly. And it'd be easier for us to overflow. Like we had an open mat one time. It was like 150 people showed up.
Oh, wow.
And we have to turn down another 100 that were outside. So we want to avoid situations like that until we have 10,000 square foot mat space. But for now, we're keeping it small, and eventually, I think B Team itself can grow to tremendously.
No, yeah, and so that's kind of your goal, is to hopefully expand it into a bigger warehouse area.
Yeah, a warehouse area, but or more just the name B Team over everything, like the organization that that's going to become, like, I don't have the t-shirt on now, but we have like a Mexican ground karate t-shirt that sells a ton amongst the community. So I think we're going to push merch a lot. People want our merchandise, so we'll give them what they want.
It's a big thing out here. I'll hook you up with a local company that I use to get all my stuff. Well, this isn't one of them, but no. So if people wanted to go by there, would they have to be like on a list, or
you can? So if you guys want to stop by B Team, come swing by, talk to us, and then we could take it from there. It's more like a feeling out vibe, because grappling, as every community, has some crazies, and we have some norms as well. So come chat with us at B Team whenever you're free. We usually train best trainings usually 12 p.m., 7 p.m. And we have 8 a.m. as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and so what kind of separates your school from, like, just one of the like local spots that you go to as well?
Well, FloGrappling calls us the best grappling school in the world, right? And it's because we have 5 or 6 guys in the top grapplers of the world, right? It's Nicky Rod, it's Nicky Ryan, Craig Jones, Ethan Krellerstein, Damian Anderson, Isaac Mitchell, Nick Ortiz. So you got 7 guys that are really, really good. Have been training other John Danaher. Great, phenomenal leg locks as a team. Phenomenal knowledge. Like I have a bit of wrestling. Craig has the leg locks. Nicky Ryan has a little bit of everything. Guy is a wizard. You know what I mean? We have a lot of different dimensions. Like maybe everybody knows how to do an armbar, but we all teach it differently. We all do it differently. So we have a bunch of different styles. And I think that's what people really like about us, is that we're really good teachers, really good athletes, but our styles kind of collide, and it forces us to constantly learn about each other.
No, that's great. Yeah, I think that it sounds like it's a little more personal approach, as opposed to just being in a big group setting.
Yeah,
which is at least for me, it's important. I don't want to just be like a face in the crowd. Like, I like attention to detail, and so and that, you said it's off Ben White over by Blazer Tag.
Yeah, yep.
I've never been there. Have you gone there yet?
Blazer? No, I've drive by every day though.
It looks cool. I've just never gone. And then, so really, I guess in conclusion of a lot of that stuff, so are there other companies you're working with as well? Like, as far as sponsorships
I have
partners?
EvoGen Nutrition, which is a supplement company, really good supplements. They help me out a bunch.
With like recovery?
Yeah, with recovery, I'm I eat a lot of protein, so it's good to supplement that with protein as well sometimes. I have a BJJ Fanatics where I sell DVDs on. We make, as grapplers, make a lot of money from our coaching. We do seminars. We also have technique videos that do really well, and people really enjoy the content of that. And yeah, we have all different sponsors. Like some CBD stuff comes and goes. But sponsors are usually
we have a great CBD sponsor. I'll give you some of the stuff I have here too.
Good. Yeah, that's the thing about jiu-jitsu. We're not tied down, so we can have as many different sponsors as we want. Like, maybe I make a certain amount for competing, but I also have I sell patches on my shorts or on my rash guard for money as well. So if you're a hustler, you can figure it out. Yeah.
Well, and that's kind of what we do with a lot of our events and stuff, is sponsorships and getting people involved. And I really focus on making sure that anyone that invests in me gets like a return. And I try to do as much as I can, setting them up and sending them people. And so. No, I'll definitely pass them your way. I know you could do a lot. And I know that a lot of them are focusing on expanding, because, Austin and Texas in general is really big in 3 major categories. In bodybuilding, there's the most NPC competitors, I think, in the world here. There's, 3 Olympians just 14 miles north of here. and then powerlifting, big powerlifting community, and then strongman. And so they do have other communities, but those are the most dominant ones. But I know that with jiu-jitsu rapidly expanding here and so many people moving here a day, like everything's blowing up, and a lot of these companies want to get more involved with different aspects of sports. And so no, I'm definitely more than happy to help send them your way. And so where, I guess also in kind of conclusion, where can people find you at, like social medias? And obviously the gym is down off Ben White, and I'll make sure to plug those in as well. And so social media, where do you...
So Instagram at Nicky Rod 247. And then you guys can check out B Team BJJ or B Team Jiu-Jitsu on Instagram, B Team Jiu-Jitsu on YouTube as well. And that's about it for me. Oh, check out Black Belt Slayer. Yeah, on Instagram as well. It's my little backup page, whatnot.
Oh, that's your backup one? Yeah. The video I watched of it was great. I was driving back from Houston yesterday, and that's what I was watching in the car. Nice. And no, it was really cool, man. I was really excited to have you on, especially watching that. I was like, oh, this is gonna be fun, because I've definitely tried to focus on variety, I guess. I don't want just the same type of people. Yeah. I get asked all the time. They're like, I think people are expecting me just to talk about diet and workouts. And I'm like, that's not what I want to do. Like, I want to get people on that compete in different sports and, are fitness enthusiasts, but that's such a generalized word. And then just BS with them, talk to them. I don't know all that stuff about training and diets and everything. And so, and then your next competition is...
the next one I'm focused on is ADCC, so in September,
And then the Vegas one, though, is the trials.
The trials, my brother will be on the trials. I just go and coach my team and stuff,
And then do you have any events, seminars, or anything planned coming up here?
Not in Austin, but I do have a seminar, Kindred Jiu-Jitsu in Edmonds, Washington, on like April 10th.
Oh, nice. I used to live in Washington. Well, cool, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on. We'll definitely run it back, and then maybe we'll shoot the pilot, which I guess I can talk about now, is we're shooting a show called Just Your Average Job. It's my last name. And where I go train with pros in their sports, and it's a different sport every episode. And so, maybe we'll just run it back with you on this Saturday, and you guys can just enjoy beating the shit out of me and teaching, kind of showing. I want to make it comedic and informal. Like that's kind of the whole basis of it, is to show off, different sports and how training goes into a lot of the questions I was asking you today, and, just have fun with it. And so... yeah, man, anything you need, just hit me up. I appreciate you coming on, and we'll kick it off again soon. So, all right, Alex, you can take us out.